Hey, this is Dr. Corey Glenn. I'm going to do a quick video showing how to close a model. So a lot of times if you're using definitely an intraoral scanner or a model scanner like the Shining 3D DSEX, which is what I use, generally what they're going to output is an outer shell for your STL, but there won't be any underside to this. So this is not a model that could be printed right now because it's not watertight. It's not a solid surface that you can print. So in order to be able to print things, they've got to be solid, and you're going to have to modify this. And so the first thing you would do, and I'm going to just screw this model up real quick just to give the impression that, you know, maybe this was an intraoral scan. So let's say you've got a real jagged boundary like oftentimes intraoral scans come out with. The first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a relatively smooth boundary. So I'm in the select function in Mesh Mixer, and I'm going to just start going around and just creating a smooth flowing boundary. So I'll select that, delete, select again, delete, and we can proceed around the arch that way. Delete. And finally, let's just do this. So a bit of a hurried job, but you'll get the point. All right, so once we've done that, oh, see I have one little jagged area. Do you see this right here? I almost missed that. That would be a problem. Okay, you want to get rid of that and make sure that this is smooth. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do now is change the dot size, make it much, much smaller. All right, so if I zoom in here now, you can see this. And we're going to go and we're going to double click right on the boundary, this blue line that you're seeing. When I do that, it's going to select all the pixels or the triangles right on the boundary of this. Now I want to expand that a little bit. So I'll go up here to Modify, Expand Ring. And as I do that, you'll see that it expands it a bit. And then one more time, Expand Ring. So now I've roughly selected all of the outer surface. Now I'm going to go to Optimize Boundary. And so little areas where there might have been a missing pixel, if we could have gone back and seen that right there, you would have noticed a little rough area. It'll fix those. And then finally, I'll say Smooth Boundary. And this is going to take it from this pixelated look down to a smooth border. Now once we've done that, we've got a smooth continuous border everywhere. We're going to push T for transform. And I'm going to go to this and just drag down this entire surface. Okay, we can change this orientation, drag it over slightly. And then obviously this needs to come way up. So you're just basically pouring your base at the moment. So that looks pretty good. Let's accept it. And then sometimes this is not necessary, but I will usually do it anyway. I'm going to select, and then I double click on this color here, and I'm going to deform smooth. Okay, so there's occasions when you do that you'll have little bits of mesh that are impinging into one another, and that will be problematic. So I'll accept that. And now let's try to do a plane cut. So edit, plane cut, and let's see if we can get a good solid base here. All right, so if it does it opposite of what you want, just hit this large fat arrow, and that will flip this over. And we can accept that, make the base however high you want. And there you see our final model. Now, one other thing we could do if you wanted to is you could make this hollow. So if you're printing a model like this, that's a lot of resin to waste. And so what I'll do is I will hollow it. And you can make the wall thickness be whatever you want. I think 2 millimeters is generally a good default. So you can see that would be your offset distance. So all of that inner shell that you see there, that's going to be hollowed out. And so it'll allow your resin to escape, assuming you make a hole for it to escape from. Okay, so let's accept that. This is now a hollow model. But where is your resin going to escape from while you're printing it? And the answer is there is nowhere for it to escape from. So we've got to create some little holes for the resin to drain out of, the uncured resin. So the way I do that, and there's a lot of different ways, I'm going to go to Mesh Mix and grab this cylinder. I'll pull it into the case, and I'm going to click on Uniform Scaling and just knock this down to 5 millimeters. Okay, so now it's taken it from a huge cylinder down to one that's just 5 millimeters in all its dimensions. And I'm going to position that like so. And then by grabbing this square on the end, I can also stretch it. So just in this one dimension, I want to stretch that thing out. And then I can play with the orientation. This is essentially creating my drain holes. Okay, so those are not in critical areas. Those will not affect anything about the print. So I'm going to accept that. And now I've got two objects in the case. And what I would like to do is subtract this cylinder from my actual model. So to do that, I need to bring up the objects browser. And I'm going to click first on the model and then control click on the cylinder that I want to subtract from it. When that is done, you'll see Boolean difference. Click on Boolean difference. And then I also find that usually you need to uncheck these two boxes. So preserve group borders, turn that off. Auto reduce result, turn that off. And now we're back to having just a single object once we accept that. Turn off our objects browser, and you can see now that this is a model that as it builds, there's somewhere for the excess resin to drain out, and all we'll be printing is this 2 millimeter shell all the way around. But you've still got a nice flat base that you could put directly on the print bed if you're wanting to print supportless. So I hope that helps.